Welcome. We are here in Switzerland, in Geneva, at the Webster University campus. And we start now with our first interview. So let me just share my screen and go with the first interview. Hello everyone, my name is Richard Affolter and I'm the director of WEBA. We are now today here in Geneva at Webster University, the only accredited university in the French part of Switzerland and one of the only one in Switzerland. And we are here today with William.
Good morning.
Hello William, how are you
Pleasure.
today?
Well, welcome to campus.
Thank you very much. It was nice. When I came here before, when I parked the car and I went around, I saw so many different students from different nationalities.
Yes, yes.
This is a big campus here.
Yeah, this is very unique to the Geneva context in Switzerland, because Geneva is the home of this diplomatic community. It's the home of headquarters of major multinational companies. So Geneva invites the world. And as you know, many diplomatic events happen in the city, but it's also a place of commerce, a place of leisure, vacation, and so forth. On ski season, the airports are always full, and the same in summer. People are here hiking and so on. So our student population represents between 80 and 90 nationalities.
Wow.
And many of them studied in Switzerland, but many come from as far as the Middle East, the Far East, Latin America, the US, and Canada. So it's a melting pot. Even as a New Yorker originally, I always think of New York as a melting pot, and I came to Geneva and I discovered that even small cities that have this unique context can be a melting pot.
What is your role inside in the University of Webster?
So I am officially the admissions and enrollment director. I oversee and work with the admissions team who go out to visit schools and to work with our partners. And then I also work with faculty in terms of current programming to be sure that it's up to date and that we help retain the best students.
How many students are studying here?
We have right now somewhere between 300 and 400 students this particular academic year. Of course, with COVID, we anticipate the study abroad numbers will continue to go back up. Normally it would be between 4 or 450.
And how many staff are working here?
And
I saw many staff.
Yeah, so we have about 30 full-time staff, and we have some full-time faculty as well, and our overall faculty is about 100 between the full-time and part-time professors in business, psychology, international relations, and in media communications.
I read an article a couple of weeks ago about Webster University, and I noted that you have some new master program.
Yes, yes. Actually, one of our newest programs is a new MA in migration, the environment, and climate change. And this is a game changer for many young students who are looking at human rights, who are looking at the situation for them 10, 20, 30 years later. We need to equip them with the skills to take leadership positions in both the international organizations like the United Nations here in Geneva, the UN High Commission for Refugees is here, the Office of International Migration, but also in other organizations, big companies and NGOs, all of which will be dealing with the combination of the climate change situation as well as how that impacts human mobility, how that impacts our everyday lives.
Webster has a big history, by the way. When it was born, because I visit Webster University in Bangkok as well.
Yes.
And in my workshops around the world, I welcome several times Webster University, even Webster Vienna, and one time Webster Leiden, if I'm correct.
Yes.
And one time as well, when I was in a workshop, I presume it was in Los Angeles or even in New York, in White Plains, by the way, close to you. There was the Webster, Missouri, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, so Missouri, St. Louis, Missouri is our home campus.
Okay.
And the university began in 1915. So we have over 100 years of history, more than 200,000 alumni around the world. And Webster University was primarily an American university until 1978, when they opened the Geneva campus here in Switzerland. We were a pioneer to bring American education in English to this context in Western Europe, where many students were studying in private schools and in boarding schools, for example, or private English schools here in the region because their parents were working at the UN or working in big multinational companies, and they had no options in English to go to university at the time. So Webster brought its curriculum and its American education here. It opened up study abroad for American students to get exposure to Switzerland. And we've been here since 1978. So our campus in Geneva is the oldest within the Webster University network. And after the success of Geneva, Webster opened other campuses, as you said, in different parts of the world. What makes it unique is that admission to Webster University, whether you apply to the campus in Geneva or the main campus in St. Louis, Missouri, gives you access to the full network. So Webster is known among the top 2 or 3% now for study abroad. I think it was top 2% in US News and World Report because we have access to provide services, facilities, study abroad systems to support students to go around the world. And many of our students will study for an exchange for 1 semester up to 1 year. And we also have some students who choose to begin in Europe at one of the European campuses and then to go to the US for 1 year or to graduate from that campus.
Yeah, this is one of the main questions from the agents. They always ask me, Richard, if I will enroll one student, for example, in Vienna, can he move to Geneva, or vice versa, from Geneva can he move to Missouri?
Yes, I think that's probably what makes Webster so unique, is that it's one university with different contexts. So we have one set of degree requirements that all students have to complete, which is the American Bachelor Program. Within that, different campuses offer different combinations of majors and courses, different study abroad programs in the summer or fall or spring, and students have access to mobility. And we have academic advisors that coach and guide the students, as well as the study abroad staff who are preparing orientation programs, welcoming committees of student volunteers to facilitate the mobility of the students.
William, thank you very much.
Thank you
It was
again.
my pleasure, and I'm looking forward to welcome you in my place in Italian part of Switzerland,
With
where is
pleasure.
my office,
With pleasure.
and invite you for a great dinner. Thank you very much.
Thank you again for coming.
Thank you. So we move on now with the next presentation from Mark Hatton, who is in charge of the cooperation with agents. We are back here at Webster University in Geneva, and after William, we are now with Mark. Hello Mark, how are you today?
Nice to meet you. Very well, thank you. Welcome to Webster University in Geneva.
My pleasure. Before I had William with us, and William was explaining me a little bit the history of Webster University. Very interesting, and the number of international students study here. So you have students coming from all around the world, from how many countries, to have an idea?
I believe currently we have about 90 different nationalities at the moment.
90 different How you manage this? I mean, 90 different nationalities is a lot. I mean, different culture, different religion, different food as well.
We have great staff, very professional staff. We have great facilities, which I'm sure you'll see if you visit our videos and our website. And we're very used to having all of these different cultural backgrounds joining us, these different religions on our campus. We have a lot of history.
So you work with agents, Mark. What is your role exactly? Can you maybe explain this to our audience of agents today?
Of course, yeah. So I'm the Associate Director of Admissions and Student Enrollment in Webster University in Geneva. I'm responsible a large part for reviewing the folders, managing the admissions and student enrollment elements of Webster University Geneva, and I'm also in charge of agency relationships, third-party relationships, with the intention of trying to recruit students from, and with the assistance of high-caliber, high-quality agencies around the world.
As you know, we have our own portal with around 3,600 agents from all 125 countries today, and this was a big work made in the last 33 years. And for me, it's important, like for you, is that these agents who are enrolling students for university, boarding school, these are qualified agents. And what we do is we always ask for about 2-3 reference of other universities working together, if it's related to the university, or to boarding school, if it's related to boarding school. How did you are dealing with this? How do you deal with the agents? How did you find an agent who is qualified?
So first of all, working with WEBA helps as well. We also have a long history working with high caliber, high quality agencies. As you said, we select the agencies, so we don't work with everybody. We also ask what their track record is. It's very important as well that the agency has done their homework on the university, so that when we enter into communication for the first time, then we can see that it's a good fit from the start.
Webster has different faculties. Can you tell me a little bit about the faculties?
Yes, very much so. So we have our own business school, a very successful business school within the university, but in addition to that, we have an increasingly popular psychology department. We have computer science, we have international relations, we have media communications at master's level. We have counselling, which is a hugely successful program, maybe as a result of COVID and the mental health issues that we're discussing at the moment. And we also have, as core of the bachelor program, we have global citizenship, which is a very important element of all of our bachelor programs, which encompasses liberal arts, so the US liberal arts system.
Webster University, here in Geneva, is one of the only accredited university in Switzerland. And this is an added value of my WEBA workshop on the road here in Switzerland today. I mean, and agents have to look into this. You agree with me? They have to look into working with accredited university, not only for the agent themselves, but for the students and for the parents.
Very, very much so.
So, Webster University is an accredited university since many years now. I know now that when you're looking to work with agents, you are offering as well a training session to the agents, and you explain to them all these details that the Webster University is an accredited university, and you have the right and the title to name your university, which other business school doesn't have the right here in Switzerland, at least. I'm correct on this?
That's right. Currently there are various different Swiss laws and the new Swiss accreditation actually that is taking place at the moment. There are a large number of the private and the public universities who are going through this system. At the moment, as it stands, yes, we are Webster University in Geneva. Assuming we get the institutional accreditation, then yes, we'll continue being called Webster University, and we'll be allowed to send our students to the various different public universities. So just on that point, it's very good that you mentioned that, because there are two differences, and I will mention this when I train any of the agencies who decide to work with us. We have a one-on-one Zoom conference where I train the head person and all of the team to try to elaborate and, I would say, not educate but inform the differences of institutional accreditation and programmatic. So there are many private institutes in Switzerland, business schools, private universities that have program accreditation for the particular programs, but you need institutional accreditation, and that is not a common thing to be aware of, and that's why I try to inform the agencies, because that gives value to the degrees and the credits. One example would be we're the only private university, including the business schools, in the Geneva region and in Western Switzerland that allows all of our students to transfer credits, or if they finish their degree, to apply to the public universities. And that is unique to private universities like ourselves who hold the title of having institutional accreditation, which we also have from HLC, which is in the United States.
I have a very interesting question that came just in my mind at the moment. So if a student is doing the bachelor at Webster University here in Geneva, and maybe they want to do a master program at the public university of Zurich, for example, is this possible?
Again, so thanks to the institutional accreditation that we have, so HLC, then yes. Again, I can't comment on the admissions procedure at the public universities because they're in procedure, but in terms of eligibility based on the recognition of our degrees, yes, 100%. We have a track record of sending students who have finished our bachelor degrees to University of Geneva. We've sent students to LSE in London, to King's, to NYU for their master programs. We have an excellent track record as a result of the institutional accreditation that we have. So I really ask the agencies, if they are eligible to work with us, that they do their homework to make sure that we are a good fit for them and they're a good fit for us.
I had a case study which I did 3 years ago that I noted that many agents have students who start on the first year in the home country, do the bachelor. Can they move only for the second year at Webster University here in Geneva? And if yes, can we go into the commission site as well and explain me if they are entitled to get the commission for the second year forward?
Okay, so firstly you mentioned transfers.
Yes.
We have a team here who manage transfers. Being Webster University Geneva, we have a campus here. We also have many campuses around the world. It's a big network. So if you have a look on our website, you can find a lot more information about the various different campuses we have everywhere. As I said, in terms of the transfers, very much so, as long as they're coming from an accredited university. So we have students who we have to reject, unfortunately, because they're applying to us in their second year. It was very common. Even recently, they applied to another institute or business school in their first year. They realized it wasn't for them, or some of the agencies missold or miscommunicated or misinformed the students and their parents, and the students turned up into a different university or business school and they were not happy. They tried to transfer to us, and we're only able to accept the students if they're coming from an eligible university, and we would review the credits. We would try to accept all of the credits that have been done on a similar program. We have a team in St. Louis who manages all of that, and that's reviewed before they even step foot on our campus. In terms of the commission, very much so. So we've reviewed all of the contracts since I started recently. All of the commission has been improved, it's been increased, the payment conditions have been improved, and we pay on the first year.
Yes.
And that would also be the case if somebody starts in the second year.
Okay.
We would pay full commission as if they were starting in the first year. That's for bachelors and for masters.
Okay, so as well for masters, so very important as well.
Exactly.
If your student only do the master program, they will receive the commission. I have a question. What is the entry requirement at Webster University here in Geneva?
Okay, so for the bachelor's, the entry requirement would be completion of a high school from an accredited university. We ask for a minimum 2.5 out of 4 GPA
Yes.
on the typical American system. We also have a scholars track program, which could be very interesting for students who have a minimum 3.5 out of 4, and that also applies to agencies. So we have students who, if they've done very well in their IB, if they've done very well in the A-levels, high school diploma, or even the international systems. As I said, we work with 90 different nationalities, so we have experience working with agencies all around the world with students coming from all the different high school systems around the world. And in terms of the admissions, we ask for English exam
Yes.
requirements as well. We work with IELTS, we work with TOEFL, we work with Pearson, we work with Duolingo as well, which is very important.
Yes, I agree with you. Duolingo now is very much requested from many agents. Let's go back to the housing. Let's
Yes.
go back. Let's move forward to the housing. I saw that you have a fantastic accommodation system here at Webster. Can you tell me a little bit about this?
With pleasure. We're very lucky. We're actually sitting in part of the building where the housing is just above us. So we have 2 entire floors of studio housing dedicated to our students, and we can guarantee housing. It's a first come, first served basis, but we have approximately 50 to 60 studios and double suites above us, and that is dedicated to freshmen. As I said, it's first come, first served. We also have alternative housing in town. Currently we have 3 floors of a building overlooking the lake. So yes, we're very, very lucky, because I know that many universities around the world, public universities, private universities, they have to commute into the university, and our students, I think they're about 90 seconds from their bed to the classroom. So that's
So this is a very
it's a luxury.
It's a very good selling point. So if you have students who are a little bit too much spoiled, this is the best place to go. I mean,
We have some demanding families, some demanding students. They like to, the parents themselves, they like to know that the students, maybe they're coming from boarding schools. We recruit enormously from all of the boarding schools in Switzerland. And it's very nice for the parents to know that they're still taken care of in this sort of boarding school environment, but at university level.
Because I presume you're getting many students as well from IB school here in Switzerland or from around the world. So as we know, the private IB school here in Switzerland, they are very well spoiled. So if they come here, there will be a big advantage to continue the study.
We like to think so.
Yes, I presume. Final question about the sport activity. I saw there's a golf center close to here.
So we have the country club, which is
Yes.
just down the road. I'm actually eating there with the managing director tomorrow afternoon. We collaborate with them, so we have many of our students who also have a country club membership.
Yeah.
Downstairs as well, we have a beautiful fitness center. You'll probably see it on our video. We have a stunning fitness center. It was recently renovated. And that's a must for a big university like ours, especially with this American vibe in the heart and safety of Switzerland. We have a large number of our students coming from our other campuses, from the study abroad system, where we have students from our own campuses, as I said, and from the US. They expect these facilities. They expect these top-class facilities.
Final questions. Why an agent should choose to work with Webster University here in Geneva? What is the main point?
Okay, I could probably speak for hours on this, but definitely the accreditations. That would be right up there at the top of the list, because we're the only private university in the entire Geneva and Western Swiss region where our credits and our degrees are recognized on the public university level and elsewhere by employers. The housing, the service, the classrooms. So there are many universities and business schools who say, yes, we have small classrooms. You may see, if you've been to our classrooms or you've visited or you've had a campus tour, we have on average 14 students in a class. That's very different to public universities where you have 200 to 300 in amphitheatres. And that's why the students, obviously the tuition fee is much higher, but you get this personalised service where the staff members outside the classroom, we have a very high staff to student ratio, where we have all of these different activities. We have staff, we have groundsmen. All of these provide for a great student experience.
And I would like to add something more. Mark is very supportive, and his team speak different language.
Yes.
I met some of your team that speak Russia, some other people speak Chinese.
Exactly.
So you have a great support for the agent. This is fundamental. I mean, today, and you know what, they are very fast. They're very fast in replying. This is very important for the agent, it's very important for the students, it's very important for the parents. So this is the new way of business to cooperate together. So I think, Mark, you have a great staff. You are doing an excellent work at the moment, and I'm sure that you will be very, very successful. Thank you very much for the interview. It was my pleasure to be here at Webster University in Geneva. And I wish you all the best and good business. I'm looking forward to welcome you, like I said to William before, in my site, in my area, in the Italian part of Switzerland for a lovely dinner. So before to move on for the final interview, I would like to share one more time my screen and bring the attention of Webster University. As you can see, this is Webster University in Geneva, Switzerland. You will be able to find all the undergraduate and graduate program directly on the website. And at the end of the hybrid workshop from WEBA and with the different interview, we will include as well a link where you can fill out and include your details so that Mark Hatton will be able to organize a one-to-one meeting with you on Zoom or on Teams or on Skype, and in order to establish an agreement with you directly. Now let's move on with the final interview with the general manager directly, which is very important. So let me share my screen one more time here, and let's go with Dr. Ryan Guffey. It was great to have Mark Hatton with us today, but to end up this great workshop meeting, we are here with Dr. Ryan Guffey, who is the General Manager of Webster University in Geneva. Tell me, Ryan, a little bit, you are based in St. Louis. I mean, you have the overview of all the Webster University around the world. How did you see Webster in 5 years' time?
Well, that's a fabulous question, because we as an academic institution are always thinking about the growth and development of not only the institution, but of the students who participate. You see, here in Geneva, we're the oldest campus of Webster's global network, 42 years now. And we've had the opportunity to not just model Webster University International off of what goes on here, but to expand it to places like China, to places in the Gulf, Southeast Asia, other parts of Europe like Vienna, and a little bit outside of Amsterdam. We see ourselves providing increasing opportunities for student mobility, for faculty to travel around the map, and quite frankly to add degree programs that are most relative to the markets and localities that the students are going into. Excellent.
I mean, why did you choose Geneva as a location? Why you went to Vienna? I'm half Austrian, you know, and or Bangkok, a beautiful city in Asia.
So every location we go to, we think about sort of the constellations of stars that Webster can be part of. And we knew that our first campus needed to be sort of the heart of the diplomatic thoughts of many nations. And so Geneva really became the anchor for our international campuses. Now you mentioned Vienna, that's another wonderful spot for international relations, and we've been there for almost 35 years now. But Bangkok in particular was one of the major commercial centers of Southeast Asia, and we've had a presence there for at least 20 years now. What we have found is a lot of our European students enjoy going to our Asian campuses, and quite frankly, vice versa. And that's really that value added that Webster brings to the table.
Excellent. And what about St. Louis? I mean, I work with agents from all around the world, from over 125 countries. At the moment, we have around 3,627 agents, and they are all sending students to private university, private boarding school. What about the advantage to send the students in St. Louis? Tell me a little bit about St. Louis, because I'm interested.
So Webster's been around for about 115 years.
Okay.
And it was originally founded as a women's college, right on the river of the Missouri and Mississippi. The intention was to provide opportunities to people on the coasts because there wasn't enough schools at that time. St. Louis, over the last 115 years, has grown to be quite substantial to where it's a full athletic, residential, high research productive sort of facility. So while we have these global campuses, what we're also driving is for students outside of the U.S. to have the opportunity to do at least one semester, if not their entire degree program there, and they can really get that American residential kind of collegiate experience that just isn't necessarily found in other places.
How many campuses you have at Webster? I mean, you have Leiden, which I'm familiar with, Vienna, Geneva, Bangkok, St. Louis. What else?
Athens, Accra, Ghana, Chengdu, China, Beijing, Shanghai, and I would say there's 3 or 4 that we're looking forward to announcing later on this coming year.
I have a question. If a student study at the Shanghai campus, he can move, like Mark told me before, on the 2nd year directly here in Geneva. This is a good opportunity. But can he move then as well for the 3rd years in St. Louis?
Actually, that's one of the best things about our network is we have one academic catalog for the entire network, which means it's the same degree standards for admissions and graduation, the same classes, same professors. So it can be plug and play. If you want to start your first semester in Geneva, go on to Athens, do your next term in St. Louis, or, and I'm sorry, I did forget one location, Singapore.
Yes.
You can do that because we designed to make it seamless and easy to promote that mobility of students and also our faculty.
You talk about the mobility of students. How did you handle this situation during the COVID remotely? You created your own platform so the student can study online?
Actually, I really appreciate that question because we put a lot of thought into it. So each location had remote through Zoom. Even though we have the same academic catalog, one thing we like to do is emphasize certain characteristics of each campus. Here in Geneva, we do a little bit more with diplomatic work and banking. In Singapore, they also like banking, but they're really focused on international business. So there's a few elective classes that are different. What we started doing over COVID was allowing these Zoom classes to be available to people worldwide. So you could be here in Geneva, take a class in Singapore, or you can go to our campus in Uzbekistan, which, by the way, I didn't mention because that's
in Tashkent?
In Tashkent, yeah, and actually some other locations in Uzbekistan. So imagine you have students from literally 15 different countries, all part of Webster, taking the same kind of course. And so COVID actually helped us quite a bit to kind of further integrate our campuses and our students.
So the student was integrated each other. This was fantastic.
So for networking, it's fabulous.
So you had a live session in different timing.
That's exactly it.
So it happened maybe that you had to wake up 2 o'clock in the morning to help some teacher or something like that, because I mean, time different country. Wow, you did a great job.
You know, it's a lot of opportunity for everybody. So it was surprisingly, once we got over the hump, a lot of fun.
You keep doing this now? The COVID, we don't know how it's the situation, but you know, for the next couple of years, it doesn't look so good. How did you see this situation now?
Because we have so many degree programs, what we decided to do while we're figuring out COVID is that we would limit the number of classes like that. But they are still available for every major, but just simply not as many classes as before.
I have one last question, is in regarding housing. I know here in Geneva is fantastic because it takes 90 seconds for students to jump out of the bed and come into the classroom.
Exactly.
But I know Singapore, for example, which is a very expensive place to live and to have accommodation. Do you have housing in every campus, or it depends from campus to campus?
Every place that we offer a degree program, we have housing within a 10-minute walk of the campus. So that's one of the benefits. Nobody has to struggle to find their own place. We, quite frankly, if somebody wants to live off campus, we even have individuals that assist with those processes.
Dr. Ryan Guffey, it was a fantastic interview. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
My pleasure.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we finished with the final interview during our trip here to Geneva, and to talk with the 3 different directors in order that you as agents will be able to start to cooperate with Webster University. So one more time, again, below is a link where you can fill out and include all your details in order that Mark will be able to reach you and to arrange a one-to-one Zoom meeting. So from Geneva at the moment is everything. Thank you very much to join the WEBA hybrid workshop today. Thank you very much.